what you should be looting, where you should be looting, when you should be looting, who to pick, what items you need, all that stuff. Okay, so the first advice that I want to give is that you're going to want to do this without teammates. Enabling the solo option will make this process much quicker. By the time that I earned 5,000 Chaos Theory points, I only prevented about 700 damage with the heat shields. That's because I try to avoid the storm and the flares, the ring flares. Also because I usually stick with my teammates. Next, which legend to choose? My first choice would have to be Wraith because her tactical ability, Into the Void, allows her to travel through the ring and ring flares without taking damage. I also recommend Gibraltar, Bangalore, and Mirage. Gaby because he has the Fortified perk, meaning that his incoming damage is reduced by 15% and isn't slowed by bullets. He has a gun shield, and he has a dome shield. He is the ultimate tank. Also, if you're using a heat shield outside the ring and a team spots you, they have the advantage of downing you. But with Gibby, you can throw out your dome shield and recalculate your next move. Bangalore because her passive and tactical abilities allow her to flee from enemies. Double Time, which is her passive ability, allows you to sprint faster if you're being shot at. Smoke Launcher can be a hindrance to your enemy's vision, so it makes for nice escapes. Mirage because his whole kit spells rat.
It's me!
Not literally. I do not recommend picking Bloodhunder. I mean, Bloodhound, Lifeline, and Watson. Their abilities are just too noisy and you're gonna attract unwanted attention. They're much better used with the team. Loba can work though. She has a good escape and a passive that allows her to see epic and legendary loot through walls. Epic is purple and legendary is gold. But her ultimate can give her away, so you want to be mindful about when you use that. You can do this pretty much with any champion you want. It's up to you. So which weapons you pick up is up to you. I gravitated toward using at least one sniper so that I can zoom in with one of the sights to see my surroundings. Next, let's talk about the loot you should prioritize. Syringes and medkits should be on the top of the list. Traveling through the storm damages your health, not your shields, obviously. In rings level 1 and 2, you should continue to loot inside the storm. You'll be safer from enemy fire. And I'll go ahead and continue to talk about that later on. Next on the list is the shield bats and cells, but not so many. You should be avoiding fights. Try to avoid using these unless necessary. I avoided picking Phoenix kits because they take 10 seconds to use. It's just too long. Running away, you don't want to stay in one spot forever. If you find one early, go ahead and pick it up. Next, you want to prioritize grenades, and prioritize grenades over ammo. Tossing grenades can help you escape. If you're just firing at an enemy with your weapons, that will allow their teammates to reposition on you, and more than likely you will die. I just kept one stack each for each weapon. You can pick up whatever attachments you come across for your weapons. Obviously, you want to pick up the best attachments that you come across for your weapons. And it's up to you which sights you want to get. For the gear, same thing. You want the best that you can come across. The only exception is the level 4 body shield, which is the gold one, because cells and syringes heal much more with them. When I was trying to complete this, I didn't come across any gold shields. So if that's the case for you, purple shields or red Evo shields are fine as well. They're fine too. Alright, landing. Where to land? You can land anywhere, but try to land where no one is going. You need to make sure that you can at least loot for the basic necessities. Look around to see where other teams are dropping. Try to be one of the last to deploy. In one of my games, I was able to drop really quickly because of the way that the airship was going, the way that it was set up. I was able to go to an area that people don't really look at. So that kind of helped me. But for the most part, yeah, try to be one of the last to deploy. Then it's time to loot. Loot prioritization, medkits and syringes. I liked getting like 4 medkits and then 12 or 16 syringes and then maybe 2 batteries and maybe 8 shields or something like that, and then the rest grenades so that you can just chuck them if you need to. After you've cleared out the area, go ahead and check your map to see the ring, where the ring will close. Try to go to locations that people don't bother going to. While you're traveling, listen for enemies, avoid fights, and if you have to, take the scenic route if it helps. Remember, you are a rat. Think rat. Another tip I want to give is you can craft medkits and batteries at replicators if you need to. Make sure there's no one around though, because they can see you do it, that they can see the indicator, and they can hear you do that. Unfortunately, I did get caught by Crypto's aerial drone when I attempted to use one, and ultimately led to my demise. You can't craft heat shields though, that would be broken. Don't mind the ring when it starts closing. You don't want to use your heat shields until the ring turns to level 3, because before that the heat shields barely prevent any damage, and it's just going to take a long time for you to complete this. You will have plenty of medkits and syringes due to your lack of teammates, so just use those. While the ring is in level 2, you want to search for death boxes that are around that have heat shields inside them. The more death boxes there are, the better. Forewarning, not all death boxes will have heat shields. If there was a battle that took place in a heat ring or outside the ring, inside the storm, their killer's team probably used one of their own to start looting their death boxes, and they probably replenished it using theirs. I got baited by a death box that didn't have any heat shields. I ended up dying that way. Be quick when going to your next death box to loot the heat shield, because the level 4 rings gives only a small room for error. You don't want to derp like I did a couple of times. If you've run out of heat shields in a level 3 ring, use your medkits, because your syringes will slowly get you killed, even if used consecutively, unless you have gold armor. Also, another thing that I want to point out is you can't use replicators in the storm. If you absolutely need to or want to, just make sure you have the necessities to keep you alive. Be aware of where the ring closes. But yeah, if you need to, just go ahead and use a heat shield so that you can craft whatever you need to. Another tip, only use your heat shields in the storm or outside the ring. Don't use them in the ring flares because they don't deal as much damage. It seems like they only deal like a level 1 ring. Also, you have to be inside the heat shield for the damage to take place, for the damage to work. If you throw a heat shield in the storm and then return inside the ring and go on about your day, you're not going to get any points. You have to be inside the heat shield. These tips also apply for Olympus, but on Olympus you can make getaways on the Trident vehicles. I highly recommend you utilize them. I know that you can place a Gibby shield on a Trident, but I wonder if you can place a heat shield and ride with it. While I was doing these challenges, I never thought of it, it never came to mind, but now working on this video, that would be interesting to see. My goodness, did this video take a long time to edit. I thought I was going to be done with this video a long time ago, but nope, here I am still working on it. If you've managed to stay with me this whole time, I really appreciate you watching my video. You take care of yourself now. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you for watching.